Welcome back to Smart English Stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe this channel.
Have you ever heard this shocking fact? More than half of the people who study English for years still struggle to read simple English words out loud with confidence. Think about it. Millions of students, workers, and even parents in America and across the world embarrassed when they see a word they can't pronounce. Imagine standing in a meeting or in front of your class or even at a grocery store in New York and suddenly freezing because you don't know how to read a word that looks simple. That's not just an English problem. That's a life problem. Because language is power, and without it, you feel small. You feel stuck. But here's the crazy part. Some people, just like you, once struggled the same way. And now they read English words smoothly, like water flowing in a river. What did they discover? Why are they ahead while others are still shy and nervous? The answer is not talent. The answer is not luck. The answer is something deeper. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll discover what they know. You'll learn the secret path that changes reading from fear to freedom. You'll see how John in Chicago, Sarah in Texas, and even Michael, a 55-year-old who once gave up on learning, finally unlocked English reading. Right now, you have two choices: stay where you are, or step into a new world of understanding. The question is, will you keep watching long enough to find out how? Let's be real. Reading English words is not easy. The English language is full of surprises. Sometimes the same letters make different sounds. Though sounds different from through. Read in the past tense is read, but it looks exactly the same as the present tense. No wonder people feel confused. I want you to imagine Sarah, a single mom in Texas, who goes to the library with her little daughter. Her daughter picks a children's book and asks, "Mom, can you read this to me?" Sarah smiles, but deep inside she feels nervous, because she knows the moment she meets a tricky word, she might say it wrong. That little moment between mother and child is where shame can grow. But it can also be where courage begins. The truth is, we all have these battles. John in Chicago works at a store. His boss asks him to read an announcement aloud for customers. He hesitates. Why? Because he's afraid of messing up. He thinks people will laugh. But here's the lesson. Most people are not laughing at you. They are waiting to see if you will believe in yourself enough to keep going. Why do we fail to read? The problem is not your brain. The problem is not that you're bad at English. The problem is habit. From childhood, we are trained to memorize words, but not to feel them. We think reading is about looking smart, but really, reading is about connection. If you treat words like strange codes, you'll always struggle. But if you treat words like friends with voices, they will begin to talk back to you. Think about it. When you meet a new friend, you don't just memorize their name. You listen to how they say it. You repeat it in your head. You smile when you hear it again. That's how you should treat English words. A secret from psychology. Here's something powerful. Your brain learns faster when emotion is involved. If you try to read words with no feeling, your brain gets bored. But if you add emotion, like reading the word love while thinking about someone you care for, your brain lights up. This is why kids learn faster when they laugh, play, or even sing. So if you want to read English words, don't just study them. Live them. John's turning point. Let me tell you more about John in Chicago. He once avoided reading out loud, but one day his church asked him to read a passage in front of everyone. His hands were shaking. He misread a word. People smiled kindly, but inside he felt like running away. That night, instead of giving up, he made a promise. Every day he would take 5 words and read them out loud. He recorded his voice on his phone. At first he hated the sound of his own voice, but over time, something changed. He started to notice his progress. After 3 months, John read in front of people again, and this time he didn't just read. He spoke with pride. This is the hidden truth. Confidence comes from small wins, not from being perfect. The power of mistakes. Just every three. Michael, a 55-year-old man in Florida, once told me, "I stopped reading English books because I felt stupid." But here's what I told him. Every mistake is a teacher. If you read a word wrong, that mistake will stick in your memory longer than if you got it right the first time. Failure is not the enemy. Silence is. If you stay quiet, you learn nothing. But if you dare to speak, you grow. The science of sound. Let's pause for a moment and think about sound. English is not just letters on a page. It's music. Each word is like a little song. If you learn to hear the rhythm, you will read better. Take the word beautiful. Don't just see the letters. Say it slowly. Beautiful. 3 beats, like 3 steps in a dance. When you break it down, it becomes simple. This is how kids in America learn. Teachers clap their hands while kids read words in syllables. You can do the same. Clap, tap, or nod your head as you read. Reading is not a silent prison. Reading is rhythm. Why some people advance faster. Now, here's a psychological twist. People who read better are not always smarter. They are simply braver. They risk looking silly. They risk sounding wrong. Sarah, the single mom, finally realized this. One night, instead of hiding, she sat with her daughter and read a story. She stumbled, yes. She mispronounced, yes. But her daughter didn't laugh. Instead, she hugged her and said, "Mom, you're amazing." That moment changed everything. When you risk being imperfect, you give permission to others to love you as you are. And strangely, that makes you learn faster. Reading and life lessons. Let's step back. Isn't life the same? We fail because we think failure means the end, but failure is just part of the road. You learn to walk by falling. You learn to ride a bike by wobbling. You learn to love by risking heartbreak. And you learn to read English words by saying them wrong until one day they come out right. A story of transformation. There was once a man who worked night shifts in New Jersey. His name was Alex. He wanted to go to college, but every entrance test had English reading. He failed 3 times. He almost gave up. But one night, he heard a motivational speaker say, "The only people who never fail are the ones who never try." Those words hit his heart. He started reading newspapers out loud at 2 a.m. while drinking coffee in the quiet of the night. At first, he stumbled, but months later, he passed his test. Today, he tells his story to students, showing them his old report card with failing marks. He says, "This paper didn't stop me. My silence almost did." Remember Sarah, who chose love over fear in front of her daughter. Remember Michael, who learned that mistakes are teachers, not enemies. And remember Alex, who turned his night shift into a classroom of victory. Their stories are not just about English. They are about life. So I leave you with one question. If words have the power to open doors, to change jobs, to create love, to heal shame, Will you stay silent, or will you begin to speak them out loud? Because the truth is simple. Every word you read is a step forward. Every mistake is proof you're alive and growing. Every sentence is a bridge from who you are to who you want to be. The time is now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Pick up a book, open your mouth, and let the words out. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to begin. And when you do, the English language will not just be something you study. It will become part of who you are. So how will your story sound when you finally dare to read it out loud?